for those of you that are new here, I'm a professional intuitive empath. So good to share energy with you. We're going to do a little bit of a reading tonight. The lights are bright. It's been a long day. I'm almost tempted to put on my glasses, guys, because it's been a long, long day. It's a long day of travel. I'm several states over, and I drove, and I have clients out this way, and I'll be doing tri-state five. I want to say the tri-state area. So I'm in one place, and I'll be in another place, then another place. I think with 4 stops and several different clients, and so I am, in that in between stage where I'm winding down. So I thought I would wind down with some of you guys tonight. I'm gonna do a free question for everybody that is subscribed. words. Long drive, long day. I'm gonna do a free question for everybody that's subscribed. Okay, so new location, like I said, new place. Hopefully, you know how I rig everything when I'm traveling. So hopefully, it holds up and it works out for us as we get into it. Okay, let's see here, guys. Anybody that comes in, if you have a question, we will I will be happy to answer a question. No repeat questions. I will hold you accountable to no repeat questions. Sorry, guys. Let's see if my eyelashes are going to cooperate after a very, very, very long day. Okay. Let's see here. Brazen. So, for whoever does watch this back, brazen energy is what is befitting for you this next season. Right now, we're in Cancer season, and so that's the energy of self care, nurturance, and mothering. So, if you have a Cancerian mother who was healthy, then lucky you, because you probably got some of the juiciest, sweetest mothering. If you have a Cancerian mother who was unhealthy, then you got a lot of codependent energy and projections and a lot of their projected fears. So you may have had to be very brazen. Actually, specifically, I just saw 222 on the timer regarding your relationships. And what that means is that if that was your fate, figuring out your relationship status means you'll have to disconnect yourself from that mother energy or that mother wound. That's something that we all have to do in order to figure out where we end and someone begins. But in this new season, this brazen energy is something that is very befitting for you. I have, let's get out the conversation deck. If you just joined the chat, one free question to all subscribed members as I'm winding down after a long drive. So good sharing energy with you. Pop on into this live and let's see. Let's see what the conversation is though regarding being brazen. Hello, hi guys. One free question for all subscribed members. So, hi to everybody that just popped in. Okay, so guys, they think you can pull anyone. We're gonna use the conversation deck. Hi guys, welcome in. So good to see you guys here. One free question to all subscribed members of my channel. And here's the thing that's fortunate. They say never rue the day of small beginnings. And because my channel is this very interesting cottage industry, if you will, I know exactly who my subscribers are. So unless you have just freshly subscribed and you would like to tell me so, that's another thing. I'm not one that solicits subscribers, though. I really like to be here for the collective that shows up for me. I feel like whoever wants to be here will be here. You don't have to do the old YouTube shtick of please like, subscribe, and whatever. That's not what this is about. The reason I'm specifying subscribe members is because I had a fascinating time with trolls the other night, and I only want people that actually are wanting to raise their vibration and have real metaphysical questions that I can hopefully answer for you to come through. Okay, so we're not here for the shenanigans, and I'm shutting it down. It is coming. They think you can pull anyone. This brazen energy thinks you can pull anyone, or in the brazen energy that you might be moving in, people see that things happen for you and they think it's easy for you, is what I heard here. So let's pull another card and see what else you might have too. Or this might be someone from your past who has this opinion. It's definitely time for you to live out loud. We're using the Goddess Oracle, African Goddess Oracle deck tonight. It's definitely time for you to live out loud. That is going to be really important in this next season of your life. We'll get a conversation card that goes behind that. Welcome to anybody that's just joined. Let's see here. Live out loud. It is thought of you specifically that you give good advice. Living out loud, people might solicit and or seek your advice in this next season. One of the things that I will tell you too is that you walked away from something that you thought this might be the situation. Only hurt would come out of it. Your angels are applauding you for maybe leaving. Oh, I just got such a chill, guys. Yeah. Oh, it's cold. The overhead fan is on, but I think this is just my body kind of like doing the wind down from the night. Uh, what was I gonna say? A lot of you guys are getting a lot of credit for leaving situations where it was only going to cause you hurt. So maybe you intuitively took an out, even if it may not have been convenient or easy, because it was going to be what was the healthier thing for you energetically. It looks like we might have some questions. Can you please? The Lone Wanderer says, "Can you please shout out my little turtle named Tom?" Okay, turtle named Tom. I love turtles. I happen to love turtles. I grew up in the Keys in Marathon, Florida, and there was a turtle hospital. So I spent a lot of time there as part of the curriculum. It's so interesting in the Keys. The ocean is part of your curriculum. So we go to John Penny Camp and we snorkel and we do like a sleepaway camp and we learn how to climb through the mangroves and swim, and we learn all about the reef, and it's built into your curriculum all throughout the time that you're in school. So you're always going to nature preserves and Dolphin Research Center and the Turtle Hospital. So I love turtles. So shout out to Tom. Turtle, it happens to be one of my favorite totems. Since this is a metaphysical channel, I will shout out Tom, but we're also going to talk about Turtle Totem, which has to do with protecting yourself. It's actually very associated with Cancerian energy, and since this is July and we are in a Cancerian time, that's about that exoskeleton and the protection in the shell. That's about being soft on the inside and needing to protect yourself. That's also about going at your own pace, having the wisdom, as turtles are seen as very wise, many of them living for 500 years plus. So these turtles are these incredible species, these dinosaurs that are still living amongst us. There's something to be said about longevity when we're channeling turtle energy and the turtle totem as well. And there's something about being comfortable in your solitude as well, because a turtle lives a very insular life. Certainly it can mingle, and we see that happening when they pop out their heads and they sun themselves to warm their bodies. But we also know that they live inside of themselves. And it's also a reminder to get outside. There's something about vitamin D, about sun, about popping your head out. Sometimes you gotta pop out and show folks. What did Kendrick say? I'm so into that right now. So like sometimes you just pop out a little bit and then pop back in. You do whatever you want to do. But what I want you to understand is that when the turtle energy is speaking to you, it means that you need to take the time that you need to do whatever you need to do, and do not let anybody rush you. Very much the Taurus and the hair energy is what it's giving, and that energy is sent there to remind you that at your own pace you can win every race. Not if you're Sha'Carri Richardson. She's outpacing us all. But at your own pace, empath, you can win every race. So shout out to Turtle Tom. So let's see here. What's your favorite sweet dessert? Not just chocolate. Ask, holler at my nuts. What's my favorite sweet dessert? Not chocolate. In fact, I don't really like chocolate, quite honestly. I will eat it, but I have to really be in the mood. You know how some people are like really into chocolate? They love chocolate ice cream and like they have to have Death by Chocolate and whatever. I actually always preferred white chocolate. So I always preferred white chocolate. And so like a Hershey's cookies and cream bar or something like that. That was before I was gluten free. That would have been one of my favorite things. One of my favorite desserts that's not chocolate. I actually like a pastry. Oh, actually a cupcake. I have a thing for cupcakes. Cupcakes probably would be my all-time favorite dessert. I would say secondary to like some sort of puff pastry with like a fruit or something in it, or a croissant, something like that, but a sweet version of that. Um, but the far and away, a vanilla cupcake with vanilla icing, vanilla buttercream, right? The gluten free one now, of course, but like before gluten free, it would have been like Publix. If you guys know what Publix is in Florida, excuse me, guys, as I'm scratching my eyeball, which is not really cute. Publix in Florida is a grocery store, and they are really renowned for fantastic bakery. So, highly recommend. 10 out of 10. That's what's up. It's Publix bakery and that delicious buttercream. So that's my. Those are my two. I would say like a croissant or a cupcake. All right, let's see. Sun Starflower Studio says, "You are gorgeous. Keep slaying. Thank you, thank you. I really appreciate that, especially after a very long day, very long. Got over 9-10 hour drive. It's been a long day, so I'm glad I'm still gorgeous after that kind of day and drive because I'm tired. Well, I'm not fully tired. That's why I'm here with you guys. I'm still kind of in the wind down. So let's see here. Pardon me, guys. My eyes are wanting me to delash, put in my drops, take in my contacts, all the things. All right, let's see. When was the last time you held a baby, and how did the experience make you feel? What an interesting question. Thank you. You guys are not the trolls that were showed up here the other day. I'm so grateful that you have legitimate questions. You're allowed to ask questions, maybe about yourself too. But if you want to get to know me, I'm happy to do that as well. I never do Q&As really. Uh, when's the last time that I held a baby? TMI. It was well. It's not TMI. It's just an interesting fun fact. I was a teacher for many years, right? So I worked in preschools and I worked in grade schools and all the rest of it. And the babies were I would say they were an Achilles heel for me because I taught like always 4-year-old and up, maybe into like fifth grade, third to fifth grade. So, well, and also older too. I taught inner city creative writing programs and stuff like that with teenagers and stuff like that. So I've worked with kids from every age. But the only kids I don't work with are babies, very specifically. And it was like a joke at some of the preschools that I would work at, where they would be like, if you want Miss Monette to leave, go put a baby in her hand. Or if you want her to freak out, put a baby in her hand. Literally, one place I worked wanted to switch me to the baby room, and I actually resigned because I was like, that's not something I'm going to do. So, the last time that I held a baby was probably about a year and a half ago. I had catered a wedding. I catered a wedding. It was the last wedding that I catered when the pandemic hit. I used to cater, guys, for those of you guys that are new here, for many years. And I went to culinary school and I'm a classically trained chef and all that stuff. So that feels like lifetimes ago for what I have, for life, the way it's unfolded. And the person that I catered the wedding for ended up getting pregnant and having a baby. And I went to visit with them afterwards because we stayed in contact, we were friendly and whatnot. And they put that new baby in my hand that they conceived, not long after the wedding. So she's like, we were eating leftovers. There was some kind of, I made a little care package for them to take because they had a little travel before they got to their honeymoon. And so she was like, I think we conceived it while we were eating your leftovers, which is really sweet. So the last baby that I actually physically held was that you little young man who is so adorable, Bradenton. And it's so beautiful to see the circle of life because I was there when they were saying I do, and just a young couple. And then a little while later, they had a bambino. So that's the last baby I held, and it made me feel like I was part of the circle of life. I imagine how it feels holding Simba. I was like, oh, from the day we arrived on the planet. I felt like, oh wow, I was part of this in a weird way. Just catering, but I was part of it. So that's the last time that I've held a baby. Holding babies is not something that I do. In fact, I have a lot of godchildren. People seem to often give me godchildren. Do bequeath to me the children of the God because of the spiritual work that I do. And and my goddaughter, who is now Jesus 9, 10, I just spent some time with her a few months ago. I remember when she was a baby and brought her into um her mom brought her into the place that I used to work. I used to work in a corporate America, and she brought her in, and she was passing her around the office so everybody can meet the baby. She's my goddaughter, that part. And she put the baby in my hands, and I was like freaking out. All my like coworkers in the business office were like, "What is your goddaughter? What do you mean you're not gonna hold her?" I was like, "Come check me when she's 3 or 4. We're gonna do tea parties. She's gonna love Aunt Monette. I'm gonna got Mom Monette. It's gonna be the best time ever. We're gonna color our hair together. We're gonna wear wild outfits. Everything's gonna be rainbow. Check out the rainbow tutu. That's my tutu that I was wearing earlier today, guys. I just like fluffed it over the pillowcases. But like this is life. This is life. I'm not a baby person. In fact, I do not have children either. So that's a fun fact about me. I've never wanted children. That was never a pang for me. I always felt like I had children. I always was teaching. I always had kids. I've written and published children's books. So I'm very much, I love kids. I'm a Leo. Of course I love kids. That's the fifth house. We rule children and fun and creativity and all that stuff. But it was just never in the cards for me, and I was very fortunate to manifest a partner who felt the same. So we're the fun aunt and uncle who don't have responsibilities in that regard. So we really spoil our nieces and nephews. I'm a great aunt. But babies, not so much. That's just not my thing. All right, let's see what else there is. Oh, Keisha's channel says giving mermaid vibes. Oh, I love that it's giving mermaid vibes. Thank you. Yeah, we did a little mixed media with the hair. I do my own hair, and I wanted to have a little bit of braids with a little bit of hair and a little bit of fun and a little color. So I love that. Thank you. All right. What's my OnlyFans? James wants to know, you think I have an OnlyFans, James? Can anybody have an OnlyFans? What would I do on OnlyFans? Now, I know that there are a lot of readers that are on OnlyFans, and I am a professional intuitive empath. That's what I do for a living. That's how I pay my bills. But it's so funny. It's so funny you say that, James. I know it may be just a random comment, but I was watching someone several days ago, one of my favorite readers on here, and she was saying that she discovered that YouTube in the Patreon and in some of the, paid, like paywall services, YouTube takes 70% of your money. And while I don't have any of those like paywall Patreon things, she said, now I understand why everyone's going to OnlyFans. Ironically, she has come from the sex work industry, meaning she was a dominatrix, and so she used to do sex work. And not to say that sex work and OnlyFans are equivocal, but I think the equivocation stands to reason. I think it's synonymous. We think OnlyFans and we think sexual energy. But a lot of readers are over there, and a lot of people have services, and they have that paywall, and they're getting a premium of their money. And I'm all about that. I freelanced for places and written for magazines, and freelanced and doing my services in psychic work as well. And the cut that people do take from you is criminal. It's absolute highway robbery. It's a heist. So if you can be as autonomous as possible and claim, run me my coins, bring me my things, and percentage, if you can get that to happen, I am fully in support of it. So maybe James and OnlyFans might be a thing, but not for the reasons you would think. It would be totally spiritual and totally teaching and totally metaphysical. There'll be no boobies over there. I mean, beyond the normal boobies that I always show over here. All right, let's see what else. Awesome, James. Thank you for your offer of cream. Um, I don't have an OnlyFans. Bree, peace. What are my blockages to love? Finally a real question. Bree, can I ask you, are you a subscribed member of my channel? Have you been here before? Have I seen you before? But I like that question. I think that's a good one. So we're going to answer that for you. What are your blockages to love? We're going to get out a couple different decks here. I'm chilling Blondie for some reason. All right. My heart led me to the airport is one of the cards that came out. You just found me 2 days ago. Hey Bree, well welcome. I knew you were real energy. I'm so grateful. All right, your heart led you to the airport. One of the blockages that you have in love is wanting to, one of the things I want to say here is issues of abandonment specifically, or wanting to run, or having people wanting to run from you. Clarify Bree's blockages to love. Yeah, and this is about some foundational Shivalingam. Oh, awesome. I'm so glad. Bree, you're a real member of the channel because that's an old video, the Shivalingam video. So I'm super glad that you found that, and I'm so glad that you're here. Welcome to the channel. I love when we get to evolve together. The hand that rocks the cradle. This is the thing. I feel like there's some foundational or fundamental issues here. No, foundational is the right word because what I'm channeling here is the root chakra, especially if you're balancing your masculine and your feminine. If you're working with Shivalingam, you are definitely working on areas where you're balancing your masculine and your feminine, okay? So you definitely have some issues regarding the root chakra. That's another area that I would highly suggest for you to fortify and work on because you have issues of not feeling stable from the familial structure. Your tribal energy is what I'm channeling, has been off from the beginning. And you have been trying to rebalance that. And you've been trying to rebalance that inside of relationships. And now I love this for you, Bree. You've transitioned and you are working directly with Source. Upgrade. That's the biggest, best upgrade that you can ever have. I'm so proud of you because now instead of seeking to heal through codependent relationships, hence why the Shivalingam would be necessary, because what we're doing with Shivalingam is we're balancing our yoni with our phallic energy. So our masculine, our feminine, our yin and our yang, right? We're balancing that and bringing that energy into alignment so that we are able to be a healthy partner. This is what it is to be in a partnership where you're not just sucking and taking, or someone isn't just sucking and taking from you. You both have things to offer and you both have work to do. So what I'm seeing here, you root chakra, color red for you, also being outside and actual grounding. Invest in a grounding mat. If you don't want to be outside, I don't know where you live. So if you were in, let's say, New York, I'm not going to tell you to go put your feet on the bare ground outside of New York. But if you live in a more rural place where it's safe for you to do that, then do ground. And grounding could just be sitting on a park bench. You don't have to be without shoes, though it helps tremendously. But you need to work on feeling safe in your body because you were not safe in your foundational relationship energy, and that's been one of your blockages to love, is the impetus to run when it's time to get real work done. And even if it's not been you that's been the runner, you've attracted that. So I hope that resonates with you. But the great news is you have Source that's at your back right now who is really wanting to help you and has come through. So what you have done is you've gone through a real dark night of the soul. You're in your spiritual awakening words. You're in your spiritual awakening. So congratulations. I can say that confidently because you're seeking and searching. I'm so glad it resonates. I'm so glad it resonates, Brie. Yeah, I really feel your angels talking to me about this, or my angels talking to me about you. But either way that it's happening, you're in this awakening where you are not reliant on humans anymore. You are really figuring out what it is to be reliant on the source of all things. This is God energy that's being channeled down here for you. And it's so beautiful. And I'm so happy for you. And yeah, it's because you're healing a lot of this. You can't sit with us. A lot of rejection. You see that red that's in your folder? I say it's your folder, but I'm telling you, even though this is not a representation of you, it is a representation of you. Obviously, you are not a little white girl, but what I'm going to tell you is that that red is specifically what they had me channeling. You need to work with the color red, wear the color red even if you don't like it, and start grounding, because or purchase a red stone. So think of ruby, carnelian, jasper, these kind of things. Purchase something red, because you need to fortify feeling safe in your own space and body. Rejection at an early age caused you to repeat cycles, and it led into codependency. So it didn't make sense to you, because you're like, well, how am I running and chasing and also codependent, but also avoidant, anxious, avoidant attachment styles, all the things, right? All of that happens when we don't have safety in our familial relationships. Anyway, I'm so grateful you asked that question and that you came in here, Bree. I'm so grateful that you found me. Thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity to evolve with someone, because it's a reminder for me too about grounding work that needs to be done. And for anyone else that listens back to this, thank God for Bree coming in tonight with non-troll energy and asking a question that will be beneficial to all of us, okay? That will be beneficial to all of us. And so I'm super grateful for you. Thank you. So glad you're here. Does anybody else have it? You're welcome, sweetie. You are genuinely welcome. I'm actually really grateful that you popped in tonight, and that's a fantastic reminder for the collective. We're all Earth Angels, and today you were the Earth Angels dispatched our way to help raise our vibrations so that we could remember that we might need to realign and heal some of our bullying wounds and past wounds. We all deal with different things. Anyway, if there's anybody else that has a question, for those of you guys that may have just popped in, I see the numbers popping up and down. So for those of you guys that may have popped in, you can ask a question, any question you want. It's not relegated to it being spiritual. If it's too trolly, we're not answering. If it is something that you just want to know for yourself, I'm happy to pull some cards for you. In the meantime, I'm going to ask the angels if there's, oh, sorry guys, my leg's falling asleep, if there's anything else that we have, so I don't knock over the phone stand. Angels, what else do you want the collective to know? What else should they be focusing on? No, y'all, I'm embarrassed. The high pitch falsetto, I do not have the ability to sing that, but I was just channeling. Baby, turn the lights off, let's get naked. Hey, where do I go? Whoever was asking for OnlyFans, no. This kind of naked is being intimate with yourself. And I'm not talking about that in any sexual way. I'm saying to thine own self be true. One of the things that I'm attracted to here is one of the planets, it's Saturn. There's a lot of lessons that you learned in this season that have taught you about you in deep ways. I will say though, here, because there's a snake that's coiled around her, this naked too is a call for intimacy. Now, it depends on what stage of your journey you're in. If you're in the celibate stage of your journey, then the intimacy might be spiritual. This might be intimacy that you're having with Source. But if you're stepping out, if you're coming out of the dark, hey, finally see the light. This orange that I have on is for the sacral chakra. If you're coming out of the dark and you finally see the light, that snake has to do with Kundalini rising. And that has to do with sexual energy and tantric energy. I was doing a series on here where I was reading a book about Tantra, but I got flagged by YouTube. I got flagged because of the book. I don't know if it was because the authors particularly flagged it, so I had to remove all of the videos. And then there was also a flag because I was suggesting some fantastic sex toys, which I didn't think was a problem, because I see people advertise Adam and Eve and stuff like other, huge YouTubers all the time. I wasn't sponsored. I was not advertising Adam and Eve. It was Wet for Her. If any of you guys are interested, I don't know if they're going to leave this up or not, but I had put a link to their website, and it wasn't an affiliate link. It was just like, hey guys, go get like the best sex toys. And the reason I say that they're the best is because Wet for Her is a company made by women for women specifically. Everybody can use the toys, but the thing about women engineering sex toys is they're actually made for you and your body and the way our bodies actually work, and they're not just the cliche sex toys that you can find plenty at Adam and Eve or any other place. Whether you're, no matter what your sexual orientation is, I just highly recommend them for straight women, for the other sex, for everybody, because they're just they're just head and shoulders above. But anyway, YouTube had a problem with that, and they were not showing me love. They were like, "You got to take this down," and I was like, "Okay, I'll take it down." So I took it down. But go get the best sex toys of your life if you want them. All right, guys. So the reason that I'm channeling that, excuse me, is because of the naked card here. Yeah, they want you to be at peace with your sexual energy. They want you to be at peace with your sexual energy. And it's so funny because someone was just saying I look like a mermaid, and this is actually a mermaid. I didn't even realize that. And she's multicolored like my skirt in the back. Look at that, the rainbow. Is this someone who's in touch with all of her chakras? That's a lot of the reasons that I'm very attracted to the rainbow. It's not for LGBTQIA reasons, so I am part of the community. It's not because of that. It's because I love making sure that I am working with every chakra that I can when I feel necessary, and also when I'm traveling specifically. It's an emotional and spiritual. It's like color therapy ministry, because the people that need that spiritual, boost or boon will literally gravitate to me. They might speak. It might be benign. They might not even say anything like "I like your tutu" or whatever, but whatever color in my tutu they need to raise their vibration will help them and really pull them into alignment. I love that because of this mermaid who is multicolored. And I think that in order, that what I'm channeling here, to have good sex, this is about sex apparently. Apparently, it is about sex because the other card I have here is shame. And how much shame do we have around our sexual energy? And again, that's foundational. You see that red, that root chakra? That's very foundational. A lot of our shame is projected by our family. Okay, a lot of our shame is projected by our family. Think about what weird shit was happening around sexual energy and family, even if it wasn't inappropriate, but it was just an awkward conversation with a parent that didn't know how to talk to you about the birds and bees. Maybe you're lucky and you had no weirdness in your family, then God bless. But if you did, that shame and sex do not go together. It means that you will not fully own your body. It means you will not be the fullest potential of a lover that you can be. One of my favorite quotes is by this young girl group named Flying a Boss, and we saw them running everywhere about a year ago, and that's how they got really viral. But she says in one of her songs, it was that song, it was like, "Hello, Christ. I'm about to sin again. I said I love you to that man, but I'm not feeling him." That very honest. Have you ever liked somebody or said you love somebody, but you really didn't like them? Maybe you like their attention. We're cleaning up some shenanigans here. We all have been guilty of that to a certain degree. But what I will say is that one of the quotes they said was, "I'm a great fuck, but a better lover." I said, "Come on, sissies. You better tell the truth or shame the devil." Empath, a lot of you guys are fantastic lovers. And the reason that you're fantastic lovers is because you know how to pour into another. But in order to be an even better lover, you have to heal that shame. You have to understand Tantra, whether I can teach it here or not. Maybe I'm going to find another way to teach it because I feel very called. And so, God hired me, who's going to fire me, as Maggie says, right? But here's the deal. If you are not healthy and balanced and pulled in with yourself and your sexual energy and your sexual health and your spiritual hygiene and spiritual health, you're not going to be able to really be the kind of lover that you need to be. And it's so funny. It's not coincidental at all. Maybe a bit of a teaser here for those of you. Hopefully, we can pull it off. One of the friends that I'm with currently, they, or that I will be visiting with tomorrow, I've already asked them, and we're gonna sit down and chat. So it is a lesbian couple, and they're going to be talking about, that are in I would say in their 40s, and they're going to be talking about what good sex is. So this is not just for the LGBTQIA community. This is going to be about sexual health because these women, I think, have both been with men and women. Yes, absolutely, they have. So they're going to talk about what it takes to be a good lover because sexuality is fluid and it's undulating and it's ever changing, right? So it doesn't matter what you are on the Kinsey scale of gay to straight. I'm not here to convert anybody. Be who you are. But whatever you are, there is a way to be a good lover. And so I really love that these young women in their 20s were really extolling the powers of having self autonomy and understanding that you can speak over yourself. You're a great fuck, but a better lover. It's always better to be a lover, I would say. I'm channeling Keanu Reeves, and he was on. I might connect the clip below once this process. It takes a long time to process the lives because YouTube has to really go back and see what's going on. But he was on Drew Barrymore's show, and there's a clip of him, and she said, "Fighter or lover?" And he said, "Oh, always a fighter." And he rizzed himself. It was so funny. He said, "Always a fighter because if you don't fight for your love, what kind of love do you have?" And even as he said it, his voice cracked and got deeper. He had to get up and walk away because he knew the Riz was on 20,000 because he's so sweet. Everybody loves Keanu. He's very much renowned in Hollywood for being one of the most down to earth, kindest people. You see him on trains and just being a normal guy living in the world. But he said that, and he doesn't date like Leonardo DiCaprio and other Hollywood people date people that are so much younger than them. He is always seen with a woman that's his age, who's naturally aging beautifully with gorgeous silver hair. Right now he has this really hot model-esque girlfriend who has gray hair and she's beautiful. She's not 21. She's his age. It's really refreshing. Keanu might be well adjusted. He might have some good root chakra bases because he does not seem to be a creep. But, knock on wood, right? We always say that. And then the next day it's in the news what happened. But I really pray he's a good guy. I think he is. But he said that. And I thought, that's so powerful. If you don't fight for your love, what kind of love do you have? But here's the deal about that. That's a catch-22. The thing about that is we don't want to be entrenched in patterns of toxicity either, where if you are only fighting, that quantifies it as love. How many of us here have been in a healing state that maybe got into a relationship and it was going great and it was going too good because you came from toxicity, so you unravel it because you have no choice because that's all you know. Because of that root chakra imbalance from your tribe, whatever was projected, whatever was taught, whatever unhealthy patterns or things that you saw or then thought, you repeated the pattern unbeknownst to you. It was something that was subconscious. It was something you went through again and again because you thought that that was how you win, and you thought that love had to be filled with struggle and it had to be toxicity. I remember dating someone, and I said to that person something I never said to anybody in my life. I said to her at the beginning of us dating, I was in a good place in my life. My karma was good. My spiritual hygiene was good. I was living very honestly. Everyone in my life knew about who I was. I wasn't in anybody's closet, not spiritual, not sexual. I was very free. I liked who I was at that moment in my life. And I remember meeting that person and seeing, I could see the issues, just like I work with clients, I can diagnose and see. That's what I just kind of do. I just thought it was a thing we all did, but I'm realizing that maybe not all of us do that. But I really see people. And so I saw her and I saw the deficits. I also saw the power places too. We all have places that are excellent. We all have incredible potential places. And I saw the whole workup of it. And I said to her, you get to decide if you want to, if you feel like you deserve this relationship or not. And I know that sounds like a really cocky thing to say, right? Who the fuck am I, right? I'm just a person. But it wasn't something I was saying from here. Yes, my throat chakra said it. It was something that was channeled through here. It was about her lesson and her angels. We were never supposed to really stay together or have longevity, and we didn't, because everything that I said was prophecy and it was in fact fulfilled. She sabotaged the relationship systematically and structurally, because as much as she said she felt like she deserved love and she wanted love and she'd just come out of all these toxic things, and she told me all the woe is me stories, when God put in front of her someone that was like, from glory to glory, you could have whatever you like here. You can have every single thing you ever have wanted. Even if it doesn't seem like it's in the package that you may have even wanted it in. But my angel said, will she believe that she deserves that? Or will she sabotage this again? And she was so dedicated to the sabotage. There were some moments when I think she may have wanted it. There were some moments when I think she was an absolute fraudster, hustler, and con artist. But my higher self, see, the thing is, we're all human to a certain degree. And what I mean by that is that unless you're dealing with someone that's immersed totally in narcissistic energy, we all want love. We all want connection. We all want this kundalini rising. We all want to feel seen. We all want validation. But I found myself saying that thing to her, and I thought, that was so peculiar. And the reason that I said it was because it was the truth. It's something that we all can be guilty of doing. Maybe seeing a relationship, thinking we want it, calling it in, and then systematically sabotaging it. And I thought about that. I thought, God, why did I say that? I didn't feel guilty that I said it. I knew it was right. And as the relationship played out, I saw exactly how right I was. And never doubt your intuition, guys. I was so right. But it was a very powerful, powerful lesson. And it was interesting because it wasn't me. So it was nice because I wasn't sabotaging something for a change, even though I've been on that side of the spectrum, as we all will take our different turn on the wheel. But for me, I got to watch someone else do it. And I got to observe in a very teaching way. Like, even though it was someone I was dating, I got to observe how we will allow our tribe to infect our energy, or to infect what we think we deserve. And people, it's a lot. That's a whole masterclass there. But that phrase of, you will get to decide whether you deserve this relationship or you want it, or will you sabotage it? I said words to that effect. And I remember the look on her face. I mean, I know she was thinking the same thing, like, what the fuck? But did I lie? Did the angels lie? No lies were told. But that's the thing, guys. We all have the ability to take control of a relationship that way, to dismiss it or to embrace it. Be careful about what you pray and whom you pray for. So many of you guys have been people that have been prayed for. People prayed for you to be in their life. They wanted you to be there, only to not treat you right because they didn't know how to treat something nice. Sometimes people have never had anything nice. And in that case, with that person specifically, it's not to say that she hadn't had anything nice or as nice as me. I can't really say that. I don't know her full life experience. But what I will say is that it was a powerful lesson for her, because she maybe thought that she was capable of handling and taking care of something nice, but nice is not what she was used to, and she demonstrated it in her actions and her mannerisms and her ways and her behavior. And I thought it was really fascinating. I thought that relationship wasn't about, do I hate her, do I love her, does she hate me, does she love me? None of those feelings were there at the end of it for either of us. There was no feelings there. It was simply a lesson. It was a karmic lesson, and sometimes you'll have those happen. No one's supposed to stay in your life forever, not all the time. And she was incredibly transient, and it was so that I think she could no longer be blind. And I'm so grateful. I was so grateful to be able to facilitate that to a certain degree. It sucks sometimes, but if you understand that you're transient in a lot of people's lives, guys, maybe that's a message here for some of you guys, it will not be so painful. Like, I feel no ways about it, because I'm like, she needed to see herself fully and understand how much, she had interesting emotional complexes of like thinking very highly of herself, but then also demonstrating that she actually didn't think highly of herself because of how she behaved. It was interesting, but sometimes we don't see that until an earth angel's in our face. Sometimes I am the earth angel in your face. Sometimes people have been the earth angel in my face, right? So the thing is, what do you think you deserve? And you know how people have treated you sometimes when they prayed for you and then not treated you like you were your worth. Anyway, back to flying a boss. You're a great fuck, but a better lover. I love that for you. Yes. The thing about the great fuck part is I really don't recommend that, especially if you're balancing for, especially Miss Bree who's working with Shivalingam. If you're balancing your masculine and feminine, you shouldn't be giving away your sexual energy. I'm nobody's prude. I love sex. I am incredibly loving in all the ways. But what I will tell you is that when you're an empath, our energy is precious. And if you share that energy with everybody that comes across you, you will deplete your precious resources. So, excuse me, I highly advise that you manage your resources, okay? Even spending some time with someone, if you're not sexually intimate, if you're emotionally intimate, that costs something too, and that will also deplete you. I learned that lesson the hard way in so many ways. So, integrate your masculine and feminine, be comfortable with that, and also ask yourself how you want to give back, is what I'm hearing. But I don't want you to just be giving out your energy. So, yeah, in our past life, great fuck, absolutely. Better lover. That is the optimal place that we want to achieve, and that's where we want to strive to be. And that means being in touch with that Kundalini energy, with that snake energy. That means being in touch with your body, liking who you are, being comfortable in your skin. I don't care what a Biggie say, skinny or fat or light skin or black. He had no discrimination. I don't care what you look like. You are sexy. Embrace that. Okay? This is some after hour stuff. I didn't know. You are sexy. Embrace that. I am nobody's convention. I say it all the time. The reason I say it isn't to be self depreciating. I like me. Are there things to work on and things to improve? Absolutely. Until the end of my life. So many things that I will need to improve. But I like me. I like my internal light. I like my energy. And I like that I've evolved into a great lover, right? A better lover, whatever that may be. How are you loving on people? How are you loving on thee? That's the first step of loving on people, is loving on yourself, okay? And absolutely, I can't make this up. Some of y'all might be having some awakenings. This is dolphin energy here with the awakening. Awakenings in love, awakenings in what you truly desire. She's pregnant here. What are you pregnant with? Even if it's not an actual child, are you pregnant with a new idea, a new thought form? As we are in Cancerian season here in July, that is, Cancerian is associated with Mother, Luna, the moon. So figure out the things that make you soar. Also, this is definite sexual energy, guys, with the dolphins here, especially because it's just two dolphins and not three. It's not an aggregate. It's literally two. It's a couple. I'm telling you, sexual energy is something you might want to think about. You might want to meditate on and or purify for yourself. When I mean purify, I'm not talking about puritanical. I'm not talking about indoctrination. I'm not talking about dogma. I'm not talking about you're a saint or a sinner. I'm talking about, what do they say? Then you put your good foot down and make your soul a winner. That's Jill Scott. I respect that. And you're all that. And you're soul fat plus supreme. And you're humble, man. I love you. Let's take a long walk. You're supposed to get outside. You're supposed to move your body. You're supposed to exercise. But that was also about falling in love. I'm telling you, y'all. Could it be I'm falling in love with you, baby? Who y'all fall in love with? Would you like to fall in love? Would you like to fall in love with yourself? As a Leo sun, I highly recommend it. Fall in love with yourself first, and then the rest of the world will naturally fall in love with you. We are more attracted to people that are attractive, period. And if you like yourself, no matter what you look like or what other people think of what you look like, you will be sexy. You will be attractive. It's just natural. You don't have to try. The Riz will Riz. It will be resonating. All right. Let's see. Bree says, this is giving me so much clarity because I've been feeling called to practice Tantra as well. Really, Bree? I love that so much for you. I agree with you, Bree. This is just our reading tonight, girl. It's just it's me and you, girl, the best way, in a healthy way, not in a creepy way, please, girl. That's Cassie, but I was just thinking, um, radical rebirth is what just came here, Bree. So since it's just me and Bree's reading tonight, me and Bree just hanging out, radical rebirth is here. You are going through a radical rebirth. you are going through a radical rebirth and taking your power back. And tantric relating is the book that I was reading that they, told me I had to take down. The I had like, I don't know, maybe oh goodness. I knew it was gonna happen. It was too good to be true, right? Let's see if I can balance this out. Oh guys. So many things just happened. It was too good to be true, right? Tantra, tantric relating. Let's see if I can get my ankle back. Usually I put a weight on the back of my tripod, and I did not do that. Whew. Anyway, um, Tantric Relating is the book, and it was fantastic. And it's a quick little read. It's really quick chapters. I had the whole thing done. I was just uploading it as I was thinking about it, but I would highly recommend it. But well, let's talk about Tantra real quick. Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and whoever. I have to be so careful here parasocially. People are wild, Brie, but you're not. What you need to understand about Tantra is it's about deep intimacy. Obviously, you understand that. And it's something that's always been on my bucket list. But in order to practice Tantra, you have to first be fully in touch with yourself and be willing to be vulnerable. It's not just about how long you're withholding your orgasm or edging specifically, because edging is a big part of Tantra, and that's more about self-restraint and the rest of it, but it's about intimacy with your partner. And what I loved about this book is it was walking you through the principles of really communication and being honest about the things that are uncomfortable, about the things that are comfortable, and about the things that you would be squeamish maybe to talk about. Because in order to achieve that heightened state of sexual interconnectedness, intimacy, and awareness, you have to have a partner that's also willing to do that work with you. And so I'm always in the spiritual pursuit of that, but it means that you need to be clean first. And what I mean by clean, you have to do your own heavy lifting and spiritual work. So if you're thinking about practicing Tantra, if you have a partner with whom you can practice with, excellent. But the first thing I want you to understand is that Tantra begins with you. Okay. Okay, so if there aren't any more questions, I feel like that was a really good live, and I hope that it was helpful. The trolls have disappeared, and no one else is here. So, oh, also, if you're thinking about practicing Tantra, sacral energy and the sacral chakra is going to be a place that you want to pay attention to. So, associated with the color orange, which is the color I have on tonight. I've been wearing so much orange. This is my year to fully heal my sacral. I really worked on that. I had, if you're new here and you say you are, Brie, uh, I went through an autoimmune issue that was brought on by narcissistic abuse for many years. And so I got really sick, like freak accident kind of sick, and surgery, and I had to have parts of my body cut off and all types of interesting things. So, not like an amputation in any like real sense of the word. So I want to be very honorable to amputees, but and respectful to amputees because of my God. But what happened for me was very life saving. But it was all brought on by autoimmune things that were, excuse me, a result of taking on other people's energy, autoimmune issues, and the empath. I have a video here about that somewhere on this channel, but it's a very real thing. And the reason that I mention that, the autoimmune issues in the sacral, is because my three bottom chakras were blown out. Sometimes when you go through spiritual warfare or people are kind of lobbing spiritual attacks at you, they will attack that. That's a very strong, powerful place for me. I'm very creative. Your creativity is held in that sacral energy and also your solar plexus. The confidence to create is what happens out of your solar plexus, and then the absolute like groundedness in your boots with that root chakra. So those bottom three chakras were blown out for me with my illness, okay? And with a lot of narcissistic abuse and a lot of gaslighting and mind games. That's why I want you to protect your peace, Bree. I don't know your story, but if you're here, I kind of know your story because our stories are usually pretty in alignment, pretty similar to some degree. There would definitely be shades and places that we could say, oh, bing, 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 that too, like me too. And so, what that means for you is that those three chakras may be a place that you want to pay attention to as well, because when those chakras are in alignment, you are in fact a better lover. You surpass being a great fuck, and then you are actually an incredible lover, and you have the capacity to even honor the principles of Tantra. And I believe that Tantra should be honored. Okay? You deserve to have that. And so, what I'm praying for you right now is that the angels make it so that you can continue to do your healing, so that you can walk in that realm, because I believe that everybody who wants to experience Tantra can and shall, but it means that it's almost like Mama Aya. You know how Mama Ayahuasca will call to you and say, like, it's time for us to work together. I believe that Tantra calls to you too. I believe that Tantra, even though it's not plant medicine, I believe that it's a similar esoteric spiritual calling, that you're capable of this. You can house this energy, you can do this, and we're going to work with you. And so, but in order to do that, that sacral orange, your solar plexus yellow, and then your root chakra have to be fortified. And so in the last several years, I've been fortifying different chakras, going to visit places on this earth that are the meridians for the chakras as well. I was at Mount Shasta last year with one of my friends, and that was the root chakra. That's the root chakra of the world. And then I was at Stonehenge, which is associated with pineal gland and heart chakra. I was healing my heart for sure. I was healing my heart for sure. Yeah. And so now it's sacral. So I'm vigilant. You will see me in a lot of this bright orange because I'm vigilant to heal that sacral, because it's where I create from. That's where these videos come from. And so when you take a hit in that, it's not just about sex. Everybody thinks it's about sex. You will feel sexy, you will be sexy, you will appear more sexy when you're in balance in that way. But it's about your creativity and also pleasure. So it could be as good as a glass of wine. It could be a great piece of chocolate or a dessert. Someone asked me about my favorite dessert earlier. It could also be some good sex too. That part, we love that. It could be cuddling. It could be so many things that release oxytocin and dopamine and bring you pleasure. What doesn't bring you pleasure is being around people that gaslight, play games, or waste time. So while you're fortifying your chakra, it is so imperative for you to remember to also rid yourself of environmental distractions. So if you have a person in your life, or a family member or a coworker or something of that nature, that is depleting your energy and pulling from you, time to move them along. Because what good is it for you to fill up all that sacral energy only for it to be depleted? For people to take your creativity, your energy, and your ideas, okay? So fortify yourself with color. Color therapy is such a thing, and it's a quick, easy way to raise your vibration. If you don't want to wear the color, if it doesn't work with your skin tone, put a post-it up in your bathroom when you're doing your mirror work. And right, I honor my sacral. I see my sacral. You know, it could be as simple as that. No one has to know. No one has to see, but it is the bedrock of your creativity, that sacral energy, okay? That's why you're a better lover, because we have to be creative to even think about Tantra, or to think about the Kama Sutra, or to think about our Kundalini rising. All of those positions and moments and the ways that we anticipate what our lovers need is something that takes ultimate creativity. And hello, hello to Talal. Hello. I'm answering any question that you want tonight, so ask away. So, within reason, Talal. So, it's honoring all of that. And so, you figure out how to love each person. Each one of us here probably has had more than a lover. So each person's energy is different, and their responsiveness is different, and their bodies are different. And when you're in touch with your sacral energy, you have an innate understanding, and this is what it is to be a better lover and to exist in that tantric space. You have a better understanding on how to be of service and how to please your partner, if that is what you seek to do, or how you need to be pleased, because Empress, that part too, okay? In fact, you will know that your sacral energy is in alignment when people are seeking to please you. And when I say seeking to please you, like they want to bring pleasure to you, they're happy to do it. When I was out of alignment, I just was attracting nothing but takers. So that's another reason you want to takers and fakers and future fakers. Oh my God, you want to know who you are and what you like and where you end and where someone else begins. And that all happens in that solar plexus, confidence, that seat of the soul of confidence, and then also in your sacral, because then you can just fall into a rhythm with someone. I remember someone saying to me once that they took great pride in being a lover that pleases their lovers, right? And the only thing that I ever saw demonstrated from her was the most extreme selfishness. I've really never been with a more selfish lover. Okay, I've never been with a more selfish lover, which is interesting because I thought that she had such like incredible potential, and I was like, God, I wonder if she's this disappointing to everybody. But the point of that is I could point the finger. I'm looking at a Spider Man. There's not a spider here. Thank God. Thank you, God. Help me, Jesus. The room that I'm in, it obviously used to be a teenage boy's room, or it has this mirror. There's a Spider-Man sticker on the mirror, and I'm seeing the Spider-Man meme where they're pointing fingers like it's you, no, it's you. In that case, I had to take responsibility. Can I assess properly that she was? I don't know how she was as good as she may have thought she was to other people, because I'm like, God, if you are this selfish in this regard, I'm sure that other people have seen this level of selfishness from you, unless she was people pleasing for those people. I don't know. I don't know what her real story was, but I was like, how disappointed. I was just so disappointed because I really, really thought she had great potential. But what I had to take responsibility for, it's not just to say that, what I had to take responsibility for was what was out of alignment in my chakras that I attracted that. That I attracted that kind of a selfish lover, that I attracted someone who was not interested in reciprocity in any degree. That had a lot to do with what was not happening and not fortified and not solidified in me. Does that make sense, guys? So I could point fingers at her all day, but that was her own journey. Maybe to other people she wasn't a selfish lover. Maybe she's the best lover people ever had. That was not my experience at all. Not even in ways that she could offer. It wasn't even about, it's not all about acrobats and this and that, but it was like everything about her was so fundamentally selfish and almost like poverty consciousness withholding, like tight-fisted, like miserly, like the Four of Pentacles if you read tarot. And it was like, God, there were so many things you could have given, and you went out of your way. And I thought, you can't be a good lover. I don't care what stories you tell yourself or what highlight reel you're playing in your head or what feedback men or women are giving you. The truth and the proof was in the pudding and the actions and the behavior. It was so incredibly disappointing. So incredibly disappointing. But then I had to reflect and look at myself and say, I'm disappointed in you too, Monette, because you were a vibrational match for someone who refused to give back. And sometimes when we're out of alignment, it is. It's a little bit of therapy. That's what I do over here too. Do you have a question to allow or just opinions? Because if you have an opinion, I love opining as well. But one of the things that happened in that situation for me was that I was able to assess my own deficit. Does that make sense? So I want you to maybe take a look at that for yourself too. It is easy to point fingers and say, this person didn't do this, this, and this. But I had to ask myself the question, if I'm in the metaphysical community, what kind of vibrational match was I to her selfishness? So what is the opposite of selfishness? Could it be overgiving? That was where I was out of balance. And so, yes, that's where a little therapy comes in handy to allow, because sometimes when we're exploring, we're getting to answers that would be beneficial to maybe someone in the collective. And so I realized that in my overabundance of being a pleaser or any people pleasing, that I found the exact vibrational nightmare match of someone who is so incredibly selfish. And so it's so easy for us in the collective and as empaths to be like, you did this and they didn't do that, and they took. But were you giving? Because sometimes we overgive. Well, if you need therapy, ask a question. I would be happy to help. I have trolls sometimes, so I'll be a little bit spicy in my replies until I can discern that you are just seeking to become wise. And if that is the case, then I am here to serve humbly. So ask away whatever you would like to, and I'd be happy to chat with you. That's what I'm doing. I've got a little more juice in my tank here. See if I can find a pop. There's a pop. I found a pop. I love stories. Ah, that reminds me of Biggie. I got a story to tell. I found a bubbly. So guys are gonna hear me burp because seltzer makes me burp. I'm thirsty. Please write your story. I would love to hear, and I'd love to be of service if I can. However, the angels guide me. If I feel guided to pull cards, if you're comfortable with that, I would be happy to do that too. But I'd love your permission if you're comfortable, and that's something that I will do. If you're uncomfortable in it got warm, so it's all bubble, so I'm definitely gonna burp. Let's see if I can find the nightstand's on the other side. And the window is okay. No. We're gonna set it up here and just pray for the best, right? Maybe this will help keep it anchored. Okay. Let's see what your question is. I have a story. I have a best friend in an online game named Roblox, okay? And there's some fights with her and me, okay? How old are you, Talal? Are you over 18? Because Roblox is one of the kids' games, but it could be for adults, and I'm just old. So I just want to make sure that you're over 18 before I start giving advice to you. Just out of integrity and fairness and your own safety too, okay? If you're under 18, you shouldn't be here, all right? If you're over 18, you're more than welcome to. Okay, Roblox is all ages. Okay, got you. All right, so are you over 18? Just give me a yes or no on that, and then we'll proceed. I just want to be so safe, okay? No, you can't be here. No, no. No, it's absolutely not okay if you're 12. That is, I'll end the live because I'm super uncomfortable with that. No, you can't be here. You shouldn't be here. The old teacher in me would love to give you advice, but my channel literally says not made for kids. So I can't even put myself in danger that way, nor am I going to put you in danger that way. But I am hoping for the best for you and your friend. I know how tough that can be, especially it feels like the end of the world. So I hate that for you, but I'm gonna really ask you to click off. I really, especially because we were talking. You just showed up on my For You page. Was it a short? Can I just ask that? Was it a short or was it just this? Okay, no worries. You're not in trouble. Listen, sweetie, whoever you are, sir or sweetie or whatever, ma'am or sir, you are not in trouble. But none of us want to get in trouble, if that makes sense, okay? So it's really cool if I showed up in your For You page, which is weird because I always click not for kids, but I just want to be very safe and fair. I really wish I could give you some advice. Just this. Okay, all right, well then that's no worries. That's no worries, and I completely understand. But yeah, no, because my channel, sorry, hold on one second, my foot was falling asleep. Because my channel is not for kids, I don't want any issues with the YouTube streets. But thank you for joining, and come back in a few years. Come back in 6 years. I'll be here. I'll be right here. Okay, hopefully, and we'll continue to evolve together. All right, for everybody else that's here, I really appreciate you for stopping by. If you watched the live, I hope you got something out of it. The roundup that I'm being asked to make. Yo, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. No worries. No worries at all. I just to be fair and to be responsible. All right, so what was I going to say? For anybody else that is over age here, you're hearing the subject matter, that may be a really great question for you to look at and journal about. What was your part that you may have played in a relationship where you were like, they were totally the problem, where you wanted to completely point fingers at the other person? Yes, come back in 6 years. Hopefully, I'm still here in 6 years. Um, what was, and thank you for being honest too, also to you who are leaving. Thank you for being honest. I really appreciate you looking out for me by being honest. Thank you so much. But where, let me get my train of thought. Where were you in that? So, like I said, I was overgiving, and it wasn't overgiving to make someone like me or anything. That just happens to be one of my love languages. Okay, I really am a gifter when I love somebody, or if I care about you. Period. If you're a friend in my life, there's a drink. I'm like that person, and I appreciate it too. So I had to realize that some people are opportunists in that way, and no matter what they say, it's all about what they do. But I had to find my own fault, and I had to root that out, and I had to say, huh, do you want to not give in future relationships? No, that's not it. But do you want to wait to see what's reciprocal and more balanced and healthy? Yes, that is it. Does that mean that that person was evil? No. That person was a teacher who came in to teach me about lack of reciprocity, who came in to teach me about people that say that they're wonderful but are not. And it's not just to bash that person, it's just the truth. It was like the experience that I had with that person may be completely unique to an experience that person had with everyone else in the world. To everyone else in the world, she could have been the best lover. But I found incredible issues with even the things that she was fully capable of giving. And that's because I was over giving and overcompensating. And not overcompensating and it loved me and this is an exchange, but I wasn't waiting to see that she was going to give back even as much as I gave. Does that make sense? And it wasn't about finances at all. I'm just talking about energy, kindness, whatever ways that she could have given back that were within her boundaries. And I want you to take a look at that for yourself and parallel that to whatever you may have been like, oh, that person was the total problem. Empath, on this channel, we evolve together. And part of evolving together is being very honest about our bullshit. You know, a lot of people may think like, you think you know it and you think you know it all and you're always right. No, I'm so not always right. I'm very often wrong, and I learn. And that's one of the things with us empaths is we have karma that immediately takes a turn and spins a block on us as soon as we do anything out of pocket. And so, excuse me, the bubbly strikes. So I really genuinely learned from my mistakes, and I learned from that. It may seem that I'm very prideful and indignant in my moments with people because I have to be stoic, because people will try to knock you down just for funsies. And there was a little bit of that with that person too. She was incredibly, uh, what's the word? Felt malicious, calculated, cruel. There was a lot of stuff. But that was not about me. That's not something that I internalized because I realized that was totally the way that people love you guys is the way that they love themselves. The way that they speak to you is sometimes the way that they're speaking to themselves. I once had a boyfriend and I was in another room and I heard him berating himself about something so silly. It was so silly. I don't remember what it was. And he was very, firm with me at times too. And it was in that moment where I had the epiphany that he's mean to him. It wasn't just me. And our relationship wasn't abusive or anything that was like really outlandish or egregious. That wasn't the thing at all. But he was just unforgiving in kind of ways where it was like, oh, go a little easier. But when I heard him chastising and self-flagellating, I thought, oh my goodness, he's not nice to him. Our internal dialogue dictates so much of what else we might give out to someone else. And so with him and with this other person and with other people that I've dated, there's so many lessons that you learn. You're not always the problem. Everything can't be internalized. The way that that person chose purposely to withhold and to be messy, and just so many words that I could use there, had a lot to do with her own issues. And I think about all the things that she talked about and all of the stories that she ever told me, which I never paid attention to because I'm not a judger. Like, we all have stories and we all have weird moments and we all have seasons and, lessons that we're learning. So I'm pretty liberal about stuff like that. But I just, when I thought back as it was all concluding and I was getting all my context clues and my angels were asking me to leave, and they were escorting me out, is what they said. They showed me the door out. I realized that everything in her life was that, and all the stories were convoluted. Sometimes they were so convoluted, it's not like I'm so high vibrational I couldn't hear it. I could hear her talking, but it was so convoluted that I didn't listen to it fully. Like, I'd love to tell you, like, this, and this, but the truth is, I was like, you can keep track of all this? You want to know if they knew that you knew what you knew when you did what you didn't do because you were doing what they didn't know you did? And I was like, what? My point is, that's how she lived her own life. That's how she treated herself. That's how she behaved with herself and with others. She was shady with herself. So why wouldn't she be shady with me? She lied to herself. Why wouldn't she lie to me? She hid things from herself. Why would she hide things from me? That part. So that's what I mean by, you can figure out by the way that they treat themselves how not to take what they might dish out to you personally. There are parts of that relationship where I had to take full responsibility for avoiding the red flags or overlooking them out of comfort or uh, familiarity or whatever she was offering to me, whatever minuscule, minute thing she was offering, the tiniest specks of energy. But that was such a powerful lesson to me because it was like, yeah, I'm not totally the problem. She's not totally the problem either, right? Uh, but she has a pattern of behavior, and I had a pattern of behavior too, and those two things collided to be beautiful lessons. And listen, probably I loved it. I loved it because when you realize that people are there just to be a teacher for you can leave without these deep scars and wounds. She'll forget about me in 25 seconds. She's already forgot. I also had to move on too. It's not a forget me not. It's like you have to move on with your life. Those you if you the empath, what I want to say to you is you can't hold every single person that you date and see in the highest, deepest regard of your soul. That person was playing straight up mind games and was a complete asshole in every regard to me. Why would I let her, beyond being a lesson to teach, take up like weeps and tears and cries? Her energy was just mostly lies. She was made up of, I would say, 98% lies. So I can't, in a way, like, I can't. I can't be mad about that. A liar is gonna lie. A snake is gonna hiss. A dog's gonna bite. That's just how it goes. And you can't be down bad for the rest of your life behind these hoes. That part, message, you can't. Especially people that are incredibly broken. You're broken too. I've been broken. We're broken. We're putting ourselves back together with our empath glue. But I really hate when I work with clients and they're just so sad about what someone did. And I'm like, well, how much of that was really your responsibility? It doesn't mean you were perfect and impervious to criticism, because we're not and we never will be. But it means I was able to really discern right from the beginning. There were some things that she was going to learn, and there were some things I was going to learn too. But it wasn't meant to be at all anything other than a transient quick lesson, so that in the next season of whatever, for me or for her, there'll be a deeper appreciation in different ways. She'll be less selfish, unless that's truly who she is. If she learned anything from it, next time she really loves someone, when she loves someone, because she did not at all love me. When she loves someone, guess what will happen? That she finds worthy of her love, she will actually be honest. She'll do the work. And that means my work there is done. Empath, sometimes that's all we're there to do. And next time I love someone, I'll make sure that they're reciprocal before I overdo. You see how quickly you can that's what it is to transmute. What you just watched me do, even the processing of it, the talking about it that quickly, that's how you transmute someone's energy. So she threw a lot of toxicity at me. And I made videos and I talked about it and I got it out of my system and I did some real therapy. I did all the things I needed to. But at the end of it, I came away feeling like, huh, I just made stronger empath glue. I know a lot more about myself after having been through that. I don't want all of our relationships to be experimental. That's exhausting. But I don't want you to internalize everything that these people that are toxic, low vibrational, narcissistic, or just plain broken with their own weird ass relationships and non foundational roots systems with toxic, weird, codependent parents. You can't, that's not all your fault. There were so many things that were happening behind the scenes in that had nothing to do with my kindness, my generosity, or my honesty. It doesn't mean I was again perfect, but it means that I was as authentic as I could be. And as my mother always said to me, when you reach for the stars and you try your very best, then nothing else in the galaxy can say that you did less. So be integral when you show up in relationships, even if they're being shitty to you and you're looking at it and you're facing it and you're watching them play in your face. When you walk away, that's your amazing grace. You are given grace for that. You're given infinity stones, essentially. You learn something new. You build stronger empath glue. And then you understand something about fundamental human truths, whether they are applicable to you or not, meaning you are not always going to be the person that got it totally wrong or totally right. All I want my collective to do is stay humble throughout any fight and honestly say, did I come and play fair or was I doing anything while I was in there? And if you can walk away saying, I really came to play fair, I did the best I could, then that is rarefied air and you'll be blessed. So, fortify that sacral, ask yourself the question, do some journal shadow work, and see where you were doing maybe more than you should. What was the first time with whoever was that ex or the most recent ex where you were like, this is where it went left? And when you can identify that, you can often avoid it. You know how trains will switch tracks so that they don't collide? Just at the right time, you'll be able to switch a track so that the next time you can pull in someone who is more your vibe, more your tribe, and who is able to replenish. Yeah, and be reciprocal. That's on my bucket list. But what is it for you? So that's some spiritual and soul work that you will have to do. Guys, it's been so good sharing energy with you. And now I will say goodbye. Come back and join me next time and we'll continue to evolve together.